Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will cover how to properly track and analyze your traffic performance using UTM parameters and GA4's acquisition reporting, so you can finally get the accurate and comparable data across all your acquisition channels instead of relying on conflicting reports from individual ad platforms. Here's the thing. You can't just rely on performance data that each ad platform gives you, and there are several important reasons why. First, different ad platforms use completely different attribution models and conversion windows. Second, there is zero cross-attribution between platforms. Third, ad platforms have some serious tracking limitations. And finally, your ad platforms won't tell you anything about your organic traffic, direct traffic, referral traffic, or traffic from your email campaigns. This is where GA4 becomes invaluable. It offers you a unified view of all your marketing channels, letting you see exactly where your traffic and conversions are actually coming from. But here's the catch. To unlock this powerful capability, you need to understand how GA4 identifies and classifies your traffic. And that's where UTM parameters become absolutely essential. So first things first, what exactly are UTM parameters? UTM parameters, sometimes called UTM tags, are basically small pieces of text that you add to the end of your URLs. When someone clicks on these tagged links, GA4 captures this information and records it as a part of that visitor's session and user data. The beautiful thing is that this tracking happens completely behind the scenes. Your users won't notice anything different about their browsing experience, but Google Analytics is quietly gathering valuable information about which acquisition channels, sources, and campaigns are driving your traffic and conversions. All this data collected through UTM parameters shows up in your GA4 reports, which we will explore in detail shortly. The syntax for UTM tagged links follows a specific format. They start with a question mark after your base URL, and each parameter is paired with its value using an equal sign. Multiple parameters are separated by ampersands. One crucial thing to remember is that UTM parameters are case sensitive. So newsletter starting with a capital N and newsletter in all small letters would be tracked as completely separate sources in GA4. So consistency is key here. Now, UTM parameters consist of 5 different tags, each serving a specific purpose. Number 1, source. This identifies where your traffic is coming from. Think Google, Facebook, your newsletter, a referral partner website, and so on. Number 2, medium. This indicates the marketing medium used to deliver the click. Examples include organic, referral, CPC, email, etc. Number 3, campaign. As the name suggests, this names your specific campaign, like Black Friday sale or your display campaign or demand gen campaign. Number 4, term. This is primarily used for paid search to identify specific keywords in your search ads. And finally, number 5, content. This is super handy for differentiating similar content within the same campaign. You might use it to also distinguish between a CTA button versus a main banner, for example. Also different ads within the same campaign, or even different emails within the same A/B test. How GA4 determines acquisition channels. Now that we covered all the basics, let's talk about how these UTM parameters actually determine the acquisition channel you see in your GA4 acquisition reports. Understanding this will help you make sense of your data when we get to the actual reports. Traffic without UTM parameters. When someone visits your site without any UTM parameters in the link, GA4 has to make its best guess based on the HTTP referrer. If the referrer is a search engine, GA4 labels it as organic search. If the referrer is a social platform, GA4 labels it as organic social. If the referrer is any other website, GA4 labels it as referral. If there is no referrer at all, like someone typing your URL directly or using a bookmark, GA4 labels it as direct. Google Ads traffic. Here's where things get really interesting with Google Ads. If you have auto tagging turned on in Google Ads and you've linked your Google Ads and GA4 accounts, which you absolutely should, something pretty cool happens. The moment someone clicks your ad, Google Ads automatically appends a special parameter called the Google Click ID to your landing page URL. GA4's tracking code on your website immediately picks up that Google Click ID value, and because your accounts are linked, it reaches back into Google Ads to pull in all the data of that click, the campaign name, ad group, keyword, and even which ad network served the ad, like search, display, etc. Here's the important part. GA4 treats any session with a Google Click ID as Google Ads traffic automatically. It doesn't even look at any manual UTM tags you might have added to that visit. Instead, GA4 assigns Google CPC as source medium in your acquisition reports and then applies its built-in channels rules to categorize the session into paid search, display, paid shopping, cross-network, or paid social as appropriate. Facebook ads traffic. Now, Facebook ads is a different story. There is no auto-tagging magic like we have with Google Ads, but luckily Meta has dynamic UTM parameters. Simply copy and paste the URL parameter string into the URL parameters field when you're creating a new ad in Meta. I will leave this exact URL you can copy paste in the description to this video. Facebook will automatically replace those double curly brace variables like ad name with the actual values when someone clicks your ad, so GA4 can properly classify your traffic. Without this tagging, GA4 often lumps Facebook ads traffic into direct or unassigned, which makes your reporting pretty useless. Make sure every Facebook ad link is properly tagged before you can launch any campaign. Other traffic sources. For all your other advertising platforms, email marketing, blog posts, affiliate links, and so on, you'll need to use manual UTM parameters to ensure proper attribution in GA4. This means building your destination URLs with parameters like UTM source, UTM medium, and UTM campaign. Personally, I prefer Google's campaign URL builder for this. It's free, simple to use, and helps prevent errors. I'll drop a link to it in the description. And once you've built your link with UTM parameters, you can use it as a final URL analyzing your data in GA4. Alright, with all this background knowledge out of the way, let's now jump into GA4 and see how you can put all this knowledge to work. So open your GA4, go to Reports, Acquisition, and you'll see two main options: User Acquisition and Traffic Acquisition. User acquisition focuses on first touch attributions and shows you which channels are responsible for acquiring new users, while traffic acquisition is session-focused and reflects ongoing engagement and repeat activity. For this tutorial, let's use user acquisition, since understanding how you're acquiring new customers is typically the priority. If you don't see these reports, just navigate to your library and add Lifecycle Collection, which will include the acquisition section. Once you have your user acquisition report open, you'll see a drop-down that lets you apply different dimensions to this report. You can explore the various available dimensions later. You'll see options for source, medium, campaign, and more. But for this tutorial, the most important ones are first user primary channel group and first user default channel group. The difference between the two is subtle but important. The default channel group shows how users first arrived on your site based on Google's standard rules. The primary channel group, on the other hand, reflects any customizations you or your team may have made in GA4's channel group settings. If you're using the standard setup, they'll likely look exactly identical, but if you've customized your channel definitions, the primary one will reflect those changes. For this tutorial, let's use the default channel group, but use whatever makes sense for your situation. Next, click this little plus icon and add a secondary dimension to this table. It works similar to a pivot table in Excel or Google Sheets. GA4 gives you tons of options here, so let's add first user source medium. These source and medium parameters come directly from UTMs or Google's auto tagging that we covered earlier. I really recommend spending some time going through all the different acquisition channels you can see in this report to familiarize yourself with how sources and mediums are grouped. For example, you can type organic search in the search bar here, hit enter, and report will filter to show just the organic search channel. You'll be able to see different sources like Google, Bing, Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, and so on. Now scroll up and click Customize Report in the top right corner. Here you can add various metrics to your report like users, sessions, key events, e-commerce purchases, revenue, conversion rate, and more. Once you've selected what you want to see, click Apply. Hopefully, you're starting to see the real value of this report and why proper UTM tagging for all your links is so important. I also find it incredibly useful to filter by specific campaigns and combine the data from individual ad platforms with GA4 data when making optimization decisions. More often than not, this approach helps remove uncertainty about platform attribution claims. Let me share a real example. I worked with a company that was gradually increasing their Meta spend. They were seeing increased revenue and attributions within Meta's reporting, but there wasn't any corresponding growth in actual revenue outside of the platform. When we dug into the user and traffic acquisition reports in Google Analytics 4, we discovered that there was actually no growth in revenue attributed to Meta. What was really happening was that Meta was inserting itself more aggressively into existing customer journeys and claiming more credit according to its attribution model, that is 7-day click, 1-day view, without actually driving any additional demand. Based on this insight, we were able to scale down their Meta spending without hurting their overall ROAS and instead focus on reaching genuinely new audiences. This is just one example, and it doesn't have to be Meta specifically. With proper UTM parameters, you can measure traffic and conversions from any specific link or campaign, and this information is incredibly valuable for Google Ads optimization and outside of it. I hope you found this video helpful. Understanding UTMs and GA4's acquisition reporting is absolutely fundamental to making smart marketing decisions and getting the most out of your advertising spend. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video valuable, please support it with a like and subscribe for more valuable content about Google Ads, Google Analytics, and other helpful tools, tips, and strategies. Thank you again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.